out here on the pond. I've got to get through this frozen ground first. We've had to raise the pond dam up a little bit. Get our water level where we needed it. So I'm down here in the bottom this morning. Gonna take the dozer and just start slot dozing. Gonna push as much dirt up here as I can. The traco's back there digging a pit to bury the rest of our ashes. We burned a lot of stuff and it ended up filling that hole in that we were using. So while he's doing that, I'm gonna come back here and start hogging this out. While he's doing that, and then we'll start loading this stuff in the truck, because it's a little bit too far of a push for this bulldozer, but it won't be too bad. Once I get in this slot, I can carry quite a bit of dirt down here. But we're up above water level now. We're just kind of working on the freeboard. We just thought it'd be wise to come down here and use this pond bottom dirt that isn't really good for anything. Like I said, it's just kind of a sandy loam material. But we're gonna make do right for now with the dozer. If we had a 6T or a 6R or heck even that track loader, we could move this dirt a lot better with that loader, because I can carry almost 4 yards at a time with that 963 versus pushing it with this little bitty dozer. This dozer does a good job. It actually moves quite a bit of dirt for its size, but you just can't push dirt that far, guys. It just doesn't end up working out that well. Cusper loves the pond dam. He loves the pond. He just wants it a little deeper up here in the head section. So we're going to take and dig all this out. Try to fill in our borrow pit. Just, try to distribute this dirt and be as efficient as we can. I'm not going to get much deeper down here in this bottom. That's the last thing I want to do is take a chance of getting too close to the core, in terms of how deep I went. So we're gonna take it easy down here in this bottom. Just try to get deep back here. There's a good section over here to my right. That's gonna make some good material to build this pond with. But like I said, this is a little inefficient, but the traco's being used right now. We're trying to get our burn pit covered up. So I'm just gonna try to make do with what we've got right now. We've had a D6R in the past, and they're great. I mean, it is a great bulldozer. And they will flat out push material. But the problem with them is when you get in places that the ground's wet and you're having to try and finish wet, a little like wet material, you run into a problem where it's hard to finish because the dozer's so heavy that it bars everything up. So it becomes a bit of an issue trying to do finish work with it. I can finish always ended up having to bring in the little dozer because the ground conditions weren't good enough to hold that big rascal up. So it just ended up being kind of a nuisance in a way, because you had to haul in 2 dozers. Yeah, you can move a lot more material with a D6R versus this 6K. But this K moves a pretty good amount of material. I'm into some harder ground up here. This K moves a good amount of material, especially if you get in a slot like this. So it is what it is, guys. You know, you can't have every single machine for every job. You know, you just gotta, you know, especially the size company that we are, you gotta make do with what you got. You know, you can't say, oh well, I need to go out and buy a $150,000 bulldozer that has one job. That's the massive move dirt. Whereas you go buy a 963 track loader, and you can grade, you can carry, you can clear, you can use it as a compactor. You know, we have to be a little smarter with how we spend our money, where we allocate our money, because we don't have the funding like these big mass dirt moving companies do. So that's just a little food for thought. I'm sure I'll get comments on this. Well, you needed a bigger dozer. You needed this. You needed that. But I mean, guys, you can look. This dozer, it's moving the hound out of some dirt. You know, this is a really good sized machine for us. You can still move quite a bit of material. What I'm doing right now is building this up wider, where when I go to knock this lift down, I don't lose so much over the edges. We keep it. See how there's a big steep drop off right there? That's why I've been building this slope as I go. That way when the time comes, you know, and you're getting up there to your very top final lift, you're not pushing half your material over the edge of your slope. You know, you got it wide enough where it won't fall over the edge. But I mean, I'll admit this is a long push for a D6K, a little finish dozer like this. But you know, guys, sometimes you just gotta make do with what you got. You know, yeah, a 963 would move more dirt right here, because I can carry it up there. But hey, this is what we got, so this is what we're going to use. The loader's busy out at my farm, loading dirt. I got to have it out there to load dirt. So maybe we'll get this thing polished off today. I got a really good feeling about this one, guys. I really do think it's got a really good chance of holding water. It's got a very good clay-based bottom. The whole thing's smearing back there. That's what you want when you're in the bottom of your pond. You know, you guys can see me pushing here, and you can see when the material starts smearing like that. Glazing is most people call it. That's what I usually call it, glazing. But what that means is your material's getting hard. You're getting down to a good clay layer. See how it's shiny out there, shiny over there. That means you're getting down to a good clay layer and getting into some really good material. This big hump back here. The ground's frozen, so it's making it a little difficult to get. Once you peel that first layer off, to get uphill of the wind, so he's taking a ash path. But yeah, guys, this is the most efficient way to do this. It's called slot dozing. Basically build sideboards for your dozer. And what that does is it kind of corrals the dirt as you're pushing down through here. But I'm gonna push the majority of this up there to the up there to the slope, because it's so close.
moving a bunch of dirt this way, so
two of us today, so. I'm just cleaning this up for him, getting it pushed up to him. We're putting our freeboard on top of the dam. So everything that's going to be above the water line, so it's going to work out. This stuff's pretty topsoily. We're not getting too much into the lake. Customer wanted this, dug out deeper, so that's what we're doing. It's pretty good clay right here. It's not bad. It's pretty sandy stuff, so I elected to just make a good carpet up top because it wasn't, stuff just didn't really suit me the way out. Pretty topsoil. We'd have had to strip all this topsoil off and do something with it to get down to this somewhat decent clay layer. So the dirt was just so much better up top, so I didn't think it was worth it. Supposed to meet out here with us today, and we're going to kind of go over what kind of overflow he's wanting. We're going to recommend what we think it needs, or whatever. I'm just trying to clean this up. We're going to dig this section out with the track out. I'll get you some better video when we get up y'all hang on tight up there. We're doing some more pushing, getting this dam up to grade. a dent in this thing. Remember, y'all keep in mind, this is all freeboard. Everything that's holding water back was good, you know, good compactable red clay. That last layer you see right there, that's pretty much where the water stops. So all this topsoily clay and stuff, subsoil we're pushing up here, it'll grow good grass and just cover up all this nasty red clay. So that's what we're doing here, guys. But I'm gonna keep hammering down, and I'll turn this back on when I get this place cleaned up. gonna set you guys up on a time lapse. I'm gonna get this slope laid back. We're gonna lay this slope back. I think what we're gonna do is end up putting riprap in here. So let me guys set you guys up on a time lapse and let you guys watch us hammer down. All right, folks, my GoPro died, so we're switching over to the iPhone here. But I've got the pond dam up to grade. Got it cut in with the laser level there. So it's plus or minus an inch. So we're well within tolerance for a pond dam with 2 foot of freeboard. Right now what I'm doing is just fixing this front slope. This is just for aesthetic purposes, making it look pretty. There's no huge significance to this front slope. It's just all the dirt that I pushed up out of the pond bottom. We're just basically facing the core trench that we built out of the real good red clay from up top. We're just facing it with this. It's actually, crazy enough, it's actually some really good topsoil. But that's what I'm doing now. I got the top of the dam on grade. Very, very happy with the way that turned out. Just putting some last minute smooges on this front slope of this dam. Just make it look pretty. I like my grade work look very, very good, and everything well graded out and smooth. So that's what we're doing. He'll have a little fish bed or something right there in that little shallow pocket. It's just kind of, I don't want to dig into that bank, because right now we've got a really good amount of red clay between the pond and that rock bluff. So we just elected to not disturb any of that. So it would give it the best chance we can give it to seal off and do right. So hopefully this thing will hold water. I think it will. The pond bottom is very good. It's got a very good clay layer in the bottom of the pond. There's either a big old rock bluff deep down under there, or some sort of a hard pan, because all this ground down here is super wet. This dirt's pretty wet. It's got a ton of moisture in it. So I'm thinking there's some sort of, pan down there, not letting the groundwater get down through it, which is great for a pond, because I dug my core trench and I think I dug through what little hard pan layer there was, and I got down below that hard pan with my core trench. So I'm thinking if everything goes right, that water will get down to that hard pan and potentially try and run over and get to the core trench. And when it does, that core trench is going to back it up, and it'll start filling up. But I'm very pleased with the way this thing's turning out. I hope you guys can see it good. And I've had some people in the comments, not real sure how we were going to build this thing, and well, now you know. It's going to have about 16 feet of water down here in this bottom. This is one of the bigger ponds we've built. We built one bigger than this, but I wasn't doing YouTube at that time, so I didn't record any of it. But it's coming along good. I'm very pleased with how this is turning out. Guys, I just wanted to get you a quick update here, kind of towards the end of the day. There's the pond dam there. I'm pretty much, the top of the cap is down, pretty much level at the top of that dam. So, and I'm on the higher point of the property, so you can tell how deep it's going to be. But I'll get you guys some more video here towards the end. But there's kind of what we're working with so far. It's turning out really good. All right, guys, GoPro's dead. That's a wrap on today's video. Got the pond dam up to grade. I gotta go haul some dirt this afternoon. The customer's got to decide on what he wants to do overflow wise, whether we're gonna stack some catch basins in there, some concrete catch basins, and do a catch basin back here in the back of the pond, kind of on the toe of the slope, or run 24 or 15 inch, whatever, under the dam, and then rip wrap that whole bowl and just make a big dissipator pad back there. So he's got to decide what he wants to do, but the pond dam's done, it's on grade, and we're ready to rock and roll whatever he decides he wants to do. But that's gonna be a wrap on this video, guys. Appreciate y'all watching, and we got to hog out that head section and get it dug out a little deeper for him. But other than that, this thing's coming to an end down here. We got to clean up our borrow pit and stuff up top, but everything looks good so far. So catch you on the next one.